That is how House Study Bill 668's subcommittee ended today. The legislation will make it legal to discriminate against people in the state of Iowa. Republicans dropped the legislation sometime last night around 7 o'clock, and then they had a subcommittee this morning at 8 o'clock. Intentionally so people wouldn't show up because they wouldn't know about it. We have lots of footage from the subcommittee. I'll edit it down as soon as I can. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up. Overcapacity room, Iowans showed up. Representatives Skylar Wheeler and Samantha Fett left the room in a hurry because they were being shouted down. As always, thank you for your support. We couldn't do this without you. BitchesGetStuffDone.org.
What's going on, everybody? This is Afro think tank. Iowa white supremacist Republican state legislators are attempting to pass a bill, H.R. 668, that legalizes discrimination. You hear what I said? Legalizes discrimination. You can't make this stuff up, guys. Like, they're trying to legalize discrimination. And they tried to do it under the cover at night because they didn't want the Iowans to know that this is what they were doing, right? So the Iowan citizens are in an uproar and they are not having it, okay? They're trying to do things like they're trying to eliminate any kind of diversity training in their police academies. They want to make sure their white supremacists can join the police force, unqualified white supremacists to join the police force, and they can freely practice their white supremacy. They're trying to build a domestic white supremacist domestic army. They want to go back to the original slave patrols. That's what they want to do. And they also are taking away, several racist pieces of agendas within this bill. They're trying to get rid of affirmative action, the rest of state affirmative action that previous legislations have put into place. Because even though the federal government has eliminated affirmative action on the federal level, there's still affirmative action within the state levels in many different states. All right. Let me tell y'all something, guys. All right. There are, for my African American community, you know how sometimes, when we see who we consider Cunarians or agents of white supremacy, and we'll just throw out things. We'll say, oh, who they getting paid by? They must be getting paid. Like, we don't know for a fact, but it seems like it, right? Because sometimes their rhetoric, it just doesn't make sense of how any common sense black person could be a Republican. It doesn't make sense. Well, I just want to tell you guys that I have, I guess say a black YouTube colleague. All right, I'm going to say colleague because we're both YouTubers and we're both in the political space. I'm not going to say his name. You can try to figure it out. Probably not going to be that hard, actually. All right, but I was told by this person offline, because, some of us do talk, all right? And I was told that they do, in fact, I just gave, well, it was not a she, right? There's ain't too many she's out there doing this, but he told me that he's actually getting paid by someone to say the things that he's saying. It's not getting paid by YouTube. He told me he's getting paid, and that's why he can't stop, because he needs the money to do the other things he wants to do. And when he told me this, it confirmed what a lot of other people, have just been thrown out there. I thought it was just a conspiracy. I'm like, no way. Who's paid? I'm talking, and it's a significant amount of money. Right. So if you ever see a YouTuber who just irrationally defends Donald Trump, irrationally defends the obvious racism, discrimination, understand that there are really people out here paying any black person that's willing to throw their community under the bus. They are really there. There's a legitimate, I'm going to call it a non-governmental organization or a government sponsored organization, right, that is actually paying black YouTubers under the table a significant amount of money each month to spew their white supremacist, racist, and divisive rhetoric. So if this person is getting paid, and they told me this, who else is getting paid? Because we have members of the black community that's telling us not to vote, when in fact we need to vote. Because we all live in states that have state legislators, state politicians, state Democrats, Republicans. Everything's not always on the federal level. A lot of the damage is being done on the state level. as if you just see these shameless white supremacists in Iowa tried to pass racist legislation that is obviously racist and against the Constitution under the cover of the dark. It just so happens that diligent citizens of Iowa who pay attention to local politics, and they don't listen to anybody to tell them not to vote. Anybody tell you to sit on a couch? If anybody ever tells you to sit on a couch, understand they're probably getting paid by them boys. All right, like in real life. This is not no QAnon shit. I ain't got no tinfoil hat on my head. Them boys are really getting paid. I was shocked. I was like, y'all really getting paid? Said, yeah, man, I need this money, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can't stop. That's what I was told. Because that person needs the money. There are people out here who even need the money and they're doing it, or they don't care about the effects that it's going to have because they get into the bag per se, right? So if because election's about to come up, right? And if any charlatan with a silver tongue tries to tell you or steer you away from common sense political discourse, if they try to tell you don't vote for the Democrats without saying don't vote for the Republicans, if they tell you sit on the couch because politics don't work, the reason why politics doesn't work is because you don't work it. Because if politics didn't work, then the other side wouldn't use it to pass their agenda. They're using politics because politics does work. You see, the Republicans know that MAGA is low IQ, not intelligent, right? But you would never hear any Republican grifter, any Republican politician, any Republican pundit, any Green Party, any Libertarian Party. You will never hear them tell their audience, their fans, their subscribers, their supporters not to vote. Do you know why? Because they understand the power of the vote. If your vote was not important, white supremacists would not have spent blood and money to stop us from voting. They killed us so we wouldn't vote. If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't bother killing us. They would just allow us to think that we're voting, and they would just do what they're going to do. Okay? So I need you to just, all of you guys, think about who has told you not to vote. Who and what social media content creator told you they're a Republican? Who in social media is gearing you towards hating the Democrats without talking about one piece of legislation that they hate, without talking about one piece of legislation that they support, without telling you one piece of legislation that they, who are shields for the Republican, that they support? Because not one of these black social media conservatives that like to shit on the Democrats can tell you why they support the Republicans, can tell you anything the Republicans are doing to benefit black people. Because all of our political progress has come from the Democrats. Why has it come from the Democrats? Because the Democrats are currently the party that holds the liberals and the progressives. African Americans have always been liberal and progressive. And if anybody tells you, oh, the Democrats used to be KKK, they're being intellectually dishonest and they're telling half-truths. Because yes, the Democrats before 1960s were the conservative Democrats. And then in 1960s, they had something called the Southern Strategy, where the conservative Democrats decided that they were going to go for the former Confederate vote, for all those disgruntled white people. They figured that was the best strategy in order to take power. Then all those black Republicans who were progressive and liberal Republicans, they switched to the Democrat side because they had nothing in common with those conservative Democrats that switched to the Republican side, right? So anybody that's telling you or putting out there in the ether that we should hate somehow the Democrats, who, if you look at the demographics of the Democrat, they actually truly represent America, even though America we all don't have the same interests, but for the most part, we all support the same common sense policies that will benefit all Americans. While we can clearly see that the Republicans, the conservative Republicans, their only best interests are rich people and white supremacy. Yes, both parties take money from non-governmental organizations to pass legislation that benefit corporations. Both sides do that because that's how they have to raise money in order to win campaigns, because we don't have a public funding mechanism that forces people to run off the merit of their support, right? Citizens United, we need to get rid of that. If we don't get rid of that, politicians are going to be forced to take money from corporations in order to run their campaigns to even have a shot at doing anything for their people. That means they're going to have to do some bad things that people won't like in order to do the one or two good things that they can do that people do like. And that's how it works. So if we the people don't take voting seriously and become more intelligent voters, then these corporations are always going to win, because we the people have the power. So without further ado, we're going to look at some more information about these I can't wait till the Grand Inquisition after all this is over. I cannot wait for the Grand Inquisition when all this is over, because these white racist neo-Nazis have lost their ever-loving mind. They're going for broke because they know this is their last gasp. They're losing power, you understand? So they don't care about morality. They don't care about multiculturalism. Is a death sentence to these people, because they have a white superiority mentality, because they know in the multipolar, multicultural world, they have to, play by the rules of society. They have to be on the even playing field. And we know white people don't like to be on even playing fields. That's discrimination to them. Being held accountable, that's racism to them. You understand? So keep that in mind when you see your favorite coon conservative talking half-truths and campaigning mindlessly for the Republicans while not saying they're campaigning for the Republicans. Watch out for FBA, the leader of FBA, who told all black people not to vote. Watch out for him. Watch out for the Phil Scotts, who pretend to be pro-black but tell black people not to vote, and campaign and make video after video about how the Democrats did this, the Democrats did that. Look out for any black male Republican. They already hate women, right? It's the hate women to Republican conservative pipeline. Look out for any black politician, any black social media guy who concentrates on black female politicians. You know who I'm talking about. If they're talking trash about black female politicians, you know they're getting paid by them boys. All right. And it doesn't matter if they wrap themselves up in hip hop talk wrapping paper. Now we have a lot of politically unknowledgeable social media YouTubers that follow these very same YouTubers, and they help willingly or unwillingly spreading the same message. Don't mix them two up. We have ignorant YouTubers who don't know shit about politics, but they involve themselves in it because it's a trending topic. And then you got ones who are probably getting paid by them boys. All right. So we have to be smart observers of these social media personalities, right? We have to remember who voted for Trump and never let it go, right? And understand that our enemy is within our house. The snakes is in the grass. So we have to pay attention. All right. Anyway, without further ado, it's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. And tell me what you think in the comment section.
This morning at 8 a.m., House Representatives Wheeler and Fett advanced House Study Bill 668. This bill eliminates all affirmative action and similar policies currently enshrined in Iowa law, impacting not only students and educators, but also state employees, law enforcement officers, and healthcare professionals. Much like the Civil Rights Removal Act last year, this bill is moving forward at alarming speed and would pose remarkable damage to minority Iowans, including women, people of color, and immigrants. I spoke at the subcommittee meeting this morning, and there was an amazing turnout for opposition to this bill. I would like to thank Representative Srinivas, as well as every other representative, senator, and citizen in attendance who spoke against this bill. Iowa QSA will continue to monitor this bill and its progression through the legislature, and we will let you know when any updates happen.
It's 9 p.m. and I'm still in the Capitol building. Why am I here as one of the last souls in this building tonight? It's because a horrible bill just dropped into my lap today at 5:30 p.m. It's called HSB 668, and it goes to subcommittee tomorrow, Thursday, February 5th, at 8 a.m. in the House Lounge. And what this bill does is it does a few different things. One, it takes away affirmative action from most educational settings in Iowa. Two, it blocks the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy from having to require racial and cultural awareness training or bias training. And three, it legalizes discrimination based on citizenship status to anybody who needs to be licensed for their job, meaning nurses who are here on a visa, H-1B, here with a green card, physicians. We already have a massive workforce shortage when it comes to these areas, amongst so many others. But now we can deny them a license to practice merely based on the fact that they're here on a visa instead of being a full citizen. That doesn't fly in a state like Iowa, We welcome our diversity, and we know we need them to fill critical jobs of all styles. So come and join us. Tell everybody on that subcommittee, I'm one of them, to vote no on this bill for the sake of Iowa.
What this bill would do is to codify the right to discrimination, which is why our Republican colleagues voted against our amendment to protect against discrimination. This legislation is just the latest in a long and exhausting line of bills that will make it more difficult for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and other queer Iowans to live, work, and raise a family in this state. And we know that because we have seen how these laws are used in other states, not as a shield exclusively to protect the religious freedom of believers, but as a sword to discriminate against others who believe and identify differently.
A bill removing affirmative action from state government is moving forward at the Iowa State House. House Study Bill 668 would eliminate affirmative action from state departments like the Department of Education, even from public and private colleges and our state courts. Now, no one from the public spoke in support of the bill. Instead, they asked lawmakers to focus tax dollars on things they want, like lower grocery costs and health care.
Iowa once led the nation as one of the first to desegregate schools and legalize gay marriage, but I don't recognize this place anymore.
The House introduced the bill Wednesday, and the subcommittee met early Thursday morning. Lawmakers are required to provide the public at least 24 hours notice for public comment.
I came out of a 5 o'clock subcommittee last night, had this bill dropped in my lap, and was told that we were meeting about 15 hours later to discuss a bill that legalizes discrimination in our state.
We have a $1.3 billion deficit coming up. Why aren't you fixing that?
Those who oppose the bill say it's cutting safeguards that keep minorities at the table in fields like healthcare, when rural Iowa is already struggling to retain workers, and where certain visas are used by foreign-born physicians to fill those gaps. Some say the bill will also affect policing.
Cultural competency and bias training are not political, they are professional skills. Removing training and equity policies risk weakening that trust at a time when we need it most.
It is this very reason why Iowa cannot keep our young people.
Republican lawmakers moved the bill forward, pushing back on the criticism.
This bill ensures opportunities are awarded based on hard work, talent, qualifications, not skin color or gender. It's a step towards a colorblind justice, aligning with the Constitution and the promises for all Americans.
This morning at 8 a.m., House Representatives Wheeler and Fett advanced House Study Bill 668. This bill eliminates all affirmative action and similar policies currently enshrined in Iowa law, impacting not only students and educators, but also state employees, law enforcement officers, and healthcare professionals. Much like the Civil Rights Removal Act last year, this bill is moving forward at alarming speed and would pose remarkable damage to minority Iowans, including women, people of color, and immigrants. I spoke at the subcommittee meeting this morning, and there was an amazing turnout for opposition to this bill. I would like to thank Representative Srinivas, as well as every other representative, senator, and citizen in attendance who spoke against this bill. Iowa QSA will continue to monitor this bill and its progression through the legislature, and we will let you know when any updates happen.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.